So, how does power relate to air pressure? This is a guy doing the VO2 max test that the doctor can give you. So he's got the face mask on over his nose and his mouth, and he's running on a treadmill. They call it the stress test sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they're measuring his heart rate, they're measuring his respiration, all these blood pressures and things. Okay, so, but what they find is that there's averages. Like most humans have a certain full capacity VO2 max. That's the amount of air you can actually inhale in one breath, right? And athletes can actually inhale more air in one breath because they practice expanding their rib cage, you know, versus if we're hunched over, it's like it only breathes like this, you know? Anyways. So the amount of VO2 max an individual has is capable of inspiring, which is the inhalation. Inspire, we're talking about spiritualism, right? It's in the air. Inspire, spiro. Spiro means air. I mean, right? Mm-hmm. The Holy Spirit, spiro is air, the holy air. Is that what they're talking about all the time? Right? Mm-hmm. Your stairway to heaven lies on the whispering wind. Mm-hmm. That's what they call it? Led Zeppelin? That's what they say. Your stairway lies on the whispering wind, right? The wind, Holy Spirit. They're all talking about us, right? Obviously the sun too, the earth too, the water too, food too, but the wind, air. Let's not forget it, just because it's see-through, right? Okay, so look. Determines the power output, so how much force over a distance you can apply in a certain amount of time, which applies to every possible example of movement, right? Because it's a force over a distance and it took me a certain amount of time to do it. But if I have more power, I can do more force faster, right? Until like Bruce Lee was like the fastest, strong, you know, a lot of force, really fast. Most people, you know, you can survive that punch. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Lee, you're mopping, right? Just saying, like difference in power, right? It's measurable. We can measure these things. Determines the power output possible, not just physically, like we were just talking about, mentally, right? I take 10% of my VO2 max. How much mental power could I possibly have? 10% probably, I would think. Let me breathe out. You know what I'm saying? So what if I went just like 50%? Oh, I think it would faster. Right? What if I went and did it every breath, you know? Maybe not like make that face and stuff, but walk, you know what I'm saying? Walk around and take a full breath and blow. I'm speaking to myself. I don't do this. I want to be able to do this. To fully exhale. Fully inhale. For the rest of your life. And life is that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm preaching to myself as well. Mentally and spiritually. Spiritually is not something that's like you discovered it, so now it exists, right? Like discover, something that was covered was already there before you uncovered it, right? So discovery is something that was already there. Spirituality is already there. Some people know about it, some people don't, right? We all know deep down, right? Mm-hmm. But consciously, how aware are we? Because we get distracted really by a lot of things, right? So anyways, we only have so much power spiritually based on all these things we're talking about. To understand the spiritual dimension, to see it, to feel it, to hear it, to smell it. Average lung capacity, VO2 max, achieved by the general masses is 10%. I've read this in several sources. Okay, I don't know if it's true, but if you look around the room right now, how much is everyone moving? Probably about 10%, right? About 10%. Okay, so but they're individual because everyone's different. Potential capacity. So you have a 100%. 10% lung capacity, VO2 max, has a 1-to-1 ratio with the average cerebral capacity. Remember, it's mental, physical, mental, and spiritual rejuvenation. So they're related, right? So if we're physically not taking deep breaths, we're all clogged up, we're only getting 10% capacity. Mentally, we're getting 10% capacity, right? So cerebral capacity, another way of saying mental capacity, achieved for the vast majority of humans throughout time.